Okay, we got some crazy updates here, guys. Marvel update. Blade production progress. Ghost Rider casting. And Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom future post Secret Wars. What? Okay, so this all comes from Daniel RPK. Couple of interesting things. First about Blade. Apparently this thing's going to film in 2026. I think Eric Pearson is working on the script. And yeah, Daniel reported on Patreon. It's not canceled. And they're going to film it next year. I guess we'll see. If it does start filming, we'll know about it. Yeah. Next, a little bit more exciting. Disney has not officially announced a release date. Oh, no, they're talking about Blade. Apparently, Marvel Studios has cast an actor to play Johnny Blaze / Ghost Rider in the MCU, but the actor's identity has not yet been revealed. Our source has confirmed that a special presentation featuring a character from the mystical dark side of the Marvel Universe is currently in production. It is set to begin release during this saga, and it will reportedly introduce key characters for Doctor Strange 3. Mephisto, Voodoo, and Ghost Rider are all rumored to be in the film. Wow, that's really interesting. So they're going to do some kind of supernatural thing here to continue to set up that side and get us a little bit closer towards Midnight Suns. That's interesting. Ghost Rider. Who do you guys think it is? I'm going to say it's either Gosling or Norman Reedus. I think it's probably the Goss, to be honest. But we'll see. And then lastly, Robert Downey Jr. return as Doctor Doom in the MCU next saga. Marvel is in discussions about whether Downey Jr. will continue to play the role of Doctor Doom after Secret Wars. Currently, the MCU's plan for the next saga post-Secret Wars is cosmic, mutant, and supernatural. Side stories will serve as a foundation while introducing new characters and key elements in other productions, while other major events will revolve around these central times. But they are considering whether Downey's Doom will remain. Now, I want to linger on that for a second because it's absolutely crazy that we're hearing they might do more Doctor Doom after Secret Wars. I did tell you that. I had heard that from some folks, okay? But on top of that, the fact that Feige recently said he's open to recasting Iron Man and Steve Rogers, all of a sudden, it's like, wait a minute. How could they keep Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom? Why would they keep Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom? Well, according to Alex Perez, the original plan was that Doctor Doom would be the main villain of the next saga. So Kang was originally going to play out here. Doom would be introduced in Secret Wars, potentially also still be the big bad of Secret Wars, or like, you know, some kind of big threat thing or whatever, right? But the whole point of the next saga was going to be that elements from the timeline that He Who Remains had been sort of keeping away were now there. This was mostly going to be the mutants, the X-Men, and Doctor Doom. All of them are seemingly removed from the sacred timeline, probably because he didn't want to have to fight against the Doctor Doom in the multiversal war, right? Very, very interesting. So with that in mind, with a reboot on the way, if they're considering keeping Downey around, it would mean that, number one, they found a way to make him the big bad now and also have him be the big bad of the next saga, or be some element of what's happening in the next saga, which could be really cool. It also suggests that he is the true Doctor Doom, which I've been trying to tell you guys. And, you know, they've said it many different times, many different ways, but he is the definitive Doctor Doom, meaning they probably don't want to recast him, especially if you do two big Avengers movies, which I don't know, how much do you think these Avengers movies are going to cost them? Like $300 million each at least, or something like that, right? So when you consider that, and you're like, damn, dude, they just spent all this money, all this energy, all this time setting up Doctor Doom. Yeah, maybe they don't want to just get rid of him. Maybe it would be useful to have him in the next 5 to 10 years. Yeah. So once again, kind of crazy. Does line up with stuff that I've heard. What would you guys think if they recast Iron Man, but they keep Downey as Doctor Doom. Like, what, like, real talk, what would you guys think of that? And also, how the fuck are you going to explain that without my theory being correct? I mean, how are you going to explain that? Like, do you see what's happening? And I know some people are so mad. They can't believe it. You know? A 70-year-old Doctor Doom, though? Sheesh. I mean, I don't know. Hugh Jackman came back. People seem pretty excited about that. Honestly, would depend on how Doom is portrayed by RDJ. That's fair. That's fair. That's honestly the most fair thing anybody has said in chat. I like it, but will the general public accept it? I guess we'll see. They've got a couple movies to explain it. So this is kind of cool, though, right? Like, you've got some Ghost Rider stuff picking up. Blade seems to be firing. They're finally going to make that movie. That's wild. Also, the fact that Pearson was a writer on Fantastic Four gives me a lot of hope for that script. They're probably going to do something really cool with Blade. And we now get a feeling that it's going to be connected to the supernatural side, etc., etc. Mephisto. And maybe that's where they want to use Doom, is on the mystical side of this shit, you know? He could be an ally to the Midnight Suns. I mean, that would be insane. The Midnight Suns would kind of pop off for sure. You know, Doom is a character in the comics that adds an oomph to any book that he's in. And he's often made to be the big villain of events, right? I mean, how many events have starred Doctor Doom as the big bad guy? Like, it's a thing. So it would make sense, especially if these two movies are successful, for them to have Doctor Doom still be a part of all of this stuff. And there's also, you know, it's really interesting because after Secret Wars, after Hickman's Secret Wars in the comics, Doom is one of the only people that remembers Secret Wars. Like, basically nobody remembers Secret Wars, but Doctor Doom does. And in fact, he actually tries to become heroic after Secret Wars. And in fact, he takes Tony Stark's armor and becomes Iron Man. Crazy. Crazy. Didn't the Russos say that Doom will be related to Tony's death? How would that work if he's from the 60s? So I think the way I think it would work with the death is that I think the death, like, I think Tony was maybe the anchor being, or perhaps the death of the prime variant of Victor made him realize something. Remember that in Multiverse of Madness, Stephen Strange starts having nightmares. And the reason he's having nightmares is because every nightmare is actually a death of one of your variants outside of the multiverse. So if they are variants of each other, and when that would mean that when Tony dies, Victor probably has a dream about it. Now, how do you explain the timing thing? Well, I know the Fantastic Four is a 60s themed world. I don't know that it's actually in the 60s. And even if it is in the 60s, there's nothing that says universal travel can't go from, like, different parts of time. And in fact, in the Loki show, don't we see that, like, all over the place? Like, in the Loki show, they go all over the timelines between universes, right? Also, think about it like this. We know that 616 is delayed compared to other universes. Okay, so in Multiverse of Madness, when they look at the X-rays of the two Stephen Stranges, you realize that the accident in 838 happens like 4 years earlier, I believe. This is to suggest that in universes where Reed Richards is active, things happen faster. Or that He Who Remains had things happen more slowly. Like, does that make sense? So there's a lot of ways you could make that make sense, but yeah. Yeah. Do we think that Doctor Doom knows about Thanos and the Infinity Stones and the events of Infinity War and Endgame? I think if he has studied the multiverse, yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. People say it suggests Doom wargs into Tony's dead body. Well, do you know how he could do that? We've already seen this happen. If they are variants of each other, then Doom can dream walk into Tony's body, even if it's dead and decayed. Doctor Strange literally does that with his own body. Right? So, if they are variants and Doom wants to come into 616, he could dream walk into his body. Yeah. You know what else Doom could do? Doom could dream walk into Tony from different times. Like, there's an old rumor and I actually still believe this rumor, but maybe it's not true. You know, a lot of rumors have been kind of proven false lately, and it seems like Marvel's changing a lot. But there's an old rumor that suggests that Doctor Doom, RDJ's Doctor Doom, was somehow, some way, a presence in Iron Man 1. And that we will see this in the Doomsday movie. That RDJ's Doctor Doom was present during Iron Man 1. Interesting, right? Anyway, these MCU updates are pretty freaking crazy, guys, huh?